Today on Monson Made This, I have 3 quick and easy recipes for you.
Ryan Little.
Japan. I like to keep bags of frozen peas in my freezer at all times because I know that I can add them to salads or various recipes, or I can base entire recipes off those bags of frozen peas. And today I have 3 of those recipes for you. I have a Instant Pot risotto that's actually made with brown rice, cooks in the Instant Pot, super easy. I have a delicious pea soup that uses the frozen peas, and I have an incredible pea salad that uses a very special ingredient that I am going to show you how to make next. So let's get started with that. All of the dishes I'm making today are going to be made better by almond bacon and some almond parmesan, and both of them are made with just sliced almonds. So the almond parm is basically just nutritional yeast and equal parts of the almonds, a little bit of salt, blended together. And then this, the almond bacon, which you really want to be careful with because this is so addicting. You'll probably eat it before it makes it onto the dishes. But this is basically just Bragg's liquid aminos, some maple syrup, and some smoked paprika, baked in the oven, 350 for about 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna jar this up here, and then we'll be ready to make the other recipes. The Instant Pot brown rice pea risotto is gonna take the longest, so I'm gonna be doing that first so that it can cook while I do the other stuff. Now, normally risotto is made with arborio rice and it cooks up on a stovetop, you stir it. It can also be done in the Instant Pot, but I wanted to make this just a little bit healthier, so I decided to use brown rice, and I'm just using a short grain brown rice here. And I'm just gonna be cooking this in the Instant Pot for about 25 minutes with a little bit extra broth, more than you would normally use. And I'm just gonna dump this stuff in here, it's gonna cook, and then the pea part will come at the end. We'll blend up some peas and add that and make it nice and creamy. But this is just super easy. You don't even have to use the pea version. Just make Instant Pot brown risotto. It's actually kind of a cool concept. Yeah, so in addition to the rice, I'm going to be dumping in this diced onion, and I'll probably add about half of an onion worth. And normally when you make risotto, you saute the onion and then you saute the rice with that. You have olive oil, but a lot of people have been asking for more oil-free and even gluten-free recipes, so this is going to be made without oil. So if you wanted to do that whole process at the beginning with sauteing it and all that, you could, but because this is gonna cook for 25 minutes, you don't really need to do any of that. I'm also adding some garlic, 3 cloves, and then I just have this store-bought stock. You could use better than bouillon stuff, but you basically need about 2 1/4 cups worth of broth. I'm gonna stir this up, put the lid on, set it for 25 minutes, and then we'll quick release it as soon as that is done. While our risotto cooks, let's go ahead and make the pea salad. Now this is a dish that I remember having back when I wasn't vegan. It's normally like a mayonnaise and bacon based salad, and I decided to veganize it and actually make it quite a bit healthier. If you did want to use vegan mayo for this, you could, but instead I'm actually going to be using this tofu dressing that I made. So I will have it linked below and probably in the card up at the top as well. But last year I did a series of recipes, or a video of recipes, turning comfort casseroles into summer salads, and this is the same dressing. It's basically silken tofu and some lemon juice, some spices, seasonings, and a little tiny bit of xanthan gum, and you get this really incredible texture, which is just like mayo. So here in my salad spinner, I'm just gonna be making a half recipe. This normally calls for an entire bag of frozen peas. This is just a half of one. The first thing I wanna do here is just spin it so I can get as much water off as I can. I basically thawed them in some water, and then as soon as they were done, I just drained them into here. But I wanna get them as dry as I can. So I think one more spin, that should be good. Again, this is another really easy recipe. We're just gonna throw things into a bowl. This does need to be made in advance. I would say maybe at least a few hours. It's even better if it's overnight. So I've added the peas here. Normally this dish has cheddar cheese. So to kind of imitate that color, I just have some grated carrot. And I'm going to add some red onion. You could use any onion you like, but I think the red is good in terms of sweetness as well as color. Because we're not going to be adding any cheese, we're trying to keep this kind of plant-based. We're going to be adding some of the parm, just maybe a tablespoon of that. And then a bit of our almond bacon. And we'll be adding more of this to the top at the end. So let's sauce it up. And I'm going to reserve just a little bit of the sauce so that if, you know, as it sits, it's kind of going to, I don't want to say it's going to dry up a little bit, but it won't necessarily be as creamy. So it's always nice to add just a little bit more of the sauce at the end. But we definitely did well for ourselves by spinning out the peas because it makes the dressing stick a lot better. Before I stick my pea salad in the fridge, I'm going to taste it for seasoning. Perfect. I added just a little bit more salt and pepper in addition to the sauce, and it's great. So this is gonna hang out in the fridge. I'll show you how we finish it up here at the end. Like I said, we'll be adding some more of the almond bacon and probably some more of the parm as well. So this is gonna chill in the fridge, and then it's time to make the soup. This soup that we are about to make is so easy. It's practically just 2 ingredients. You need some vegetable broth and you need some peas. And essentially 1 bag of this, 1 container of this, your soup is ready to go. So if you like split pea soup, this is definitely like, I would say just like a fresher, more summery take on that. And you could even serve it chilled if you would like, but it is super delicious. Already in my pot here, I'm just gonna be making a half recipe of this today, but I have basically a half bag of peas, 2 cups of broth, and this is just gonna come up to a simmer. I'm gonna add some garlic, a little bit of onion, and yeah, basically when this comes up to a simmer, I'm gonna let it go for maybe a minute or 2. I have an immersion blender, gonna blend it up, top it with a cashew cream and some of that almond bacon, and that's pretty much it. So let's wait for this to simmer. The peas have come up to a simmer, so I'm gonna let this go for, I don't know, maybe a minute or so. I don't want them to really cook, I want them to stay fresh, and then I'm gonna turn off the heat and blend it up. I'm using an immersion blender, but if you don't have one of these, you can just use your regular blender. Just be careful blending hot liquids. So full disclosure, when I usually make this, I just put it into a blender. I thought for the purposes of filming, an immersion blender would be a lot better, but I'm not loving it, so I'm actually gonna transfer this to a blender. It's just getting a little bit foamy and it's not letting me do what I wanna do. So we're gonna put this in a blender. My pea soup is blended. The risotto is almost done, so I'm just gonna let this hang out. I'll plate everything at the end. So let's go ahead and make the last components we need to finish off that risotto. All right, the risotto is just about done, but we're gonna be making this kind of pea puree, not kind of a pea puree, it's a pea puree. And this is gonna be stirred in at the end because brown rice doesn't really get that creamy so that the risotto needs a little bit of help. So we're gonna be making this puree of peas and some cashews, just a quarter of a cup of cashews, a little bit of nutritional yeast. It's kind of gonna take the place of, you know, like a Parmesan flavor, even though we will add the vegan parm at the end also. And then the juice of half of a lemon. What you see here is about a half cup of reserved peas that have been thawed, and these are going to these are going to get pureed and put in to the rice, and this is going to come at the end so that there's a little bit more texture and color in the risotto. So let's blend this up. Done. So you want this to be fairly creamy, beautiful color, and yeah, so this will be stirred in just a minute. Instant Pot is done, so I'm gonna bring that out here, show you what it looks like, and we'll finish it up. All right, we have quick released the Instant Pot, and you can see there's some liquid still in here, which is great. So I've just turned it back on to the saute function. So this is gonna come up to a simmer. We're gonna let this just reduce until it's the right texture, and then we will stir in our pea puree and our peas, and that's pretty much ready to go. If you're gonna be serving this not immediately, I would wait and put the pea puree in right before you serve it, just to keep everything moving. If things firm up, get a little bit too thick, just add a bit of water or some broth, and you're back in business. The texture you're looking for is for it to be just a little bit soupy. And I'm going to add the reserved peas as well as the pea puree. This has the cashews and the lemon juice. And I'm gonna add most of this. I might reserve just a little bit in case I feel like it needs some more at the end. That looks good. And then some of the parm, just maybe a tablespoon or two. And this has salt in it, so I'm gonna taste it for salt after this. And look at that beautiful color. Now, because it is brown rice, it is gonna dull a little bit, but we'll top it with some things that'll brighten it right up. To plate this, I'm just going to be spooning it into a dish here. And this is kind of like a shallow bowl plate kind of combination, which I think is the best for risotto. So if you have a plate with a kind of a lip on it, it's just nice because it, I don't know, just helps with presentation. There is the risotto. And I'm going to top this with some of my almond bacon. A little more. A lot more, I guess. Some of the parm. And then finally, I have some fresh basil. And there we have our green pea Instant Pot brown rice risotto. Time to plate up the pea soup. I'm just gonna basically pour this in a bowl, top it with a little bit of cashew cream, and of course, the almond bacon. This is the finished soup. We have the cashew cream that kind of sunk to the bottom, but it's still delicious, and our almond bacon on top. Our pea salad has been hanging out in the fridge for a while. Like I said, it's best if it goes a couple hours or overnight. And it looks still pretty creamy. I am gonna add just a little bit more of our dressing right before serving it. And then I'm gonna top it with the almond bacon. Again, you could use just vegan mayo if you wanted, but this tofu-based sauce just makes it a lot healthier for you, and technically oil-free as well. So let's go ahead and plate this up. So in goes the salad. And again, this is just a half recipe, so if you made the full batch, it would make quite a bit more. And then generously sprinkling it with the almond bacon. And there you have an easy, fresh, delicious frozen pea salad. It is the moment of truth and my favorite part of every episode. I get to taste the food, and I've put them just on a plate and in another bowl so that I can save the other ones for glamour shots. So first thing I'm going to taste here is the soup, and I was having a little bit of a difficult time getting the cashew cream to stay on top, but I'm not sure. It's still going to taste great, so let's give it a try. It's so cool. It's just like, it just tastes like fresh peas, but it's a soup. I mean, it's so simple. Comes together so easily. It's just delicious. I don't know. It's amazing warm. I mean, this is kind of room temperature now, but it also is really great chilled. Plus the bacon on top. So good, it just hits the spot. Definitely recommend that. On here we have the risotto, as well as the pea salad. So let's give the risotto a try. My basil's a bit brown, but should still taste okay. I like to cook the risotto in the Instant Pot for 25 minutes. It still has a little bit of texture. If you want it a little bit smoother, definitely go like another 5 minutes or so, but I think the 25 minutes is perfect for me. Just really rich, hearty, taste of the sweet peas, and it's just super healthy. I mean, it's brown rice and peas. And the salad, I used to make this so much in its original style with mayo and bacon. You truly miss nothing with this version. It's like sweet little pops of the peas, the onion. I'm telling you, this almond bacon is a life changer. The tofu-based sauce, you'd never know that was just tofu. Tastes just like a mayo. All right, well, so good. You definitely need to try all three of these. And the recipe will be linked below for all of these, for the almond bacon, for the almond parm, all of that. If you want to see what happens next where I eat the rest of these, go ahead and follow below also to my Patreon. Follow me on there. Just a small donation allows you to watch Monson Ate This. I'm not sure how many videos I have on there now, but definitely it's a great way for you to get to know me a little bit better and also to help support this channel. There's also a link to a tip box donation thing, also on PayPal if you'd like to support this channel that way as well. So thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you have not yet already. And if you liked it, subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet already. We're just over like 11,500 right now. So thank you to all of you new subscribers and welcome. I really appreciate it. So that's all I have for you today. Sorry for the delay between the last couple of videos, but you know, sometimes takes me another week to get stuff done. So thank you for sticking around and waiting for this video. So have a great week. I will see you next time with another recipe video. Until then, enjoy.